Hey, good Wednesday morning, everybody. Chief Meteorologist Brad Panovich here. Good weather for the middle of the week, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Actually, drier weather, less humidity. But what I want to talk about today is what's the pattern for the weekend and what's heading our way, because pretty soggy setup for the weekend coming up and a lot of outdoor activities, a lot of sporting events. Panthers home opener as well going on this weekend. So let's talk about this setup. So this morning, as you are out there and about and into the afternoon, we've got a stalled front to the south. Some slightly drier, I say slightly, dew points have cooled a little bit into the lower 60s. It's still pretty muggy for this time of year, but not the sauna that we had really Monday and Tuesday. But what I'm watching to our south is if you look down here in the Gulf of Mexico, there's a whole bunch of precipitation or moisture. There's a low pressure system that's going to form down here and eventually is going to move up in this direction towards the weekend. And what that's going to do is pull in some deep tropical moisture into the southeast. And these low pressure systems, when you see a southeast flow and it interacts with the mountains of the Carolinas, we tend to see some really, really heavy rain events. And that's what I'm concerned about for the upcoming weekend. And just to show you the what we call the flash flood guidance. So you've probably seen me show this before. I'll pop it up here. You can see the green is the low. The yellow is what we call medium. That's for today. Tomorrow, obviously, to our south, we'll start to see things kind of build as this low pressure moves up. I want to show you day 3, though, which is Friday. You can see how things start to set up as we've got a pretty big area of medium risk for flash flooding. And then you look at the green coming up into the Charlotte area. Let's look at this product on the Weather Predictions homepage. You can see the same product here, but what they do on here is they have an experimental day 4 and 5. So for Saturday, if we pop up day 4, you could see the Western Carolinas in that slight risk. That's pretty significant 4 days out that we've already got a slight risk for exceeding flash flooding. They only go slight and moderate for that. So that's something we have to watch going into the weekend, because the fact that we've already got the risk for flash flooding to our south there on Friday and then going into Saturday, kind of showing that the setup is starting to develop. So let me show you how this develops going into the weekend. We'll show you the future cast and show you a couple different products that kind of indicate how much moisture is going to be heading up here. One of those is a product called precipitable water. And this is a term I look at quite a bit. It shows us how much moisture is in the column of the atmosphere. So the troposphere is where all the weather happens. So from the bottom to the top, if you were to squeeze it all out, how much rainfall would you have? And when you see amounts around 1.5 inches or higher, that's pretty significant. But 2 inches is super tropical, and that's that kind of peach shade or salmon. I'll show you what happens going into the weekend. You see all that moisture there? Look at that moisture building. I'm going to stop this early on Sunday or Saturday morning, 2 a.m. You see all of that moisture. That is a big plume of moisture coming into the Carolinas. And again, if you look over here, you're looking at low 2-inch precipitable water amounts. That means if it rains, you basically could just get 2 inches, 2 inches, 2 inches. Not essentially the rainfall rate, but shows you how much moisture is available to produce flash flooding or heavy rain. And that sits over us for most of the weekend. This is going into Sunday, Monday, and really not until late Monday night into Tuesday does the drier air come in, and you can see it moving in from the west. So that setup, that plume of moisture, almost like a mini atmospheric river pumping moisture up into the Carolinas, is a pretty clear signal in the guidance that we're going to have some heavy rain. So let's take a look at the future cast of what the future radar might look like. All right, so we're going to look at the GFS here, kind of look at the GFS going into the weekend. This is today. You can see the front to our south. We'll go into tomorrow. You see the precipitation forming to the south. We'll go into the start of the weekend. So here we are early on the 9th. So that's going to be Friday morning, 11 a.m. We'll go into the afternoon on Friday, go into Friday night, and then let's go into early Saturday morning, 5 a.m. Now, again, this doesn't look super impressive, but you can kind of see the orientation. Low pressure here and some kind of plume of rain coming up in this direction with a southeast component to it that would pile up the moisture into the Carolinas. So this is 11 a.m. Saturday morning. Pretty soggy setup here, 11 a.m., 2 p.m., 5 p.m., 8 p.m. Look at the waves of rain. Did you see that just on Saturday? Now, again, will it rain the whole day? No, but it will feel like it because there'll be waves of rain, kind of like what happened on Monday. Waves of rain moving through. And you can see 8 p.m. Monday or Saturday night. We go into Sunday morning, still lingering rain. Again, maybe not as heavy. Panthers home game, probably more of a drizzly, misty kind of setup. So it'll probably be raining, but not lightning. That could cause a delay. We go into Sunday afternoon, Sunday night, and then we go into Monday. Looks like the front tries to push through, and by Tuesday, everything starts to move out of here. So how much rain are we talking about? Well, we can look at this long range guidance, the precipitable water, all this stuff. But let's look at what the Weather Prediction Center kind of is giving a general consensus on the amount of moisture. So we'll go into the weekend. I'll stop this. Basically, we'll go through Monday morning. I'm going to go all the way to Monday morning, 12Z, which is basically 7 a.m. You can see the totals. And again, I think some of these are probably underdone, but probably in the 1 to 4 inch range for the Western Carolinas. Over the Piedmont, maybe 1 to 2, maybe 1 to 3. But again, it all depends on where the heavy rain band sets up. If that heavy rain band sets up here, we could see just to a south, but it could set up as here as well. But you know those areas on the southeast facing slopes, we call it the escarpment, the area where we go from foothills to mountains pretty dramatically. It's essentially a ramp for the atmosphere. When we get a southeast flow of deep tropical moisture, it hits it, it lifts it up, and it creates heavy rain right in this area. So if you live in the mountains and foothills and you saw heavy rain this past weekend and early this week, the soil saturated. There's a lot of high water already. This could cause potentially some flash flooding this weekend. So just be kind of heads up here. This is an early kind of weather aware for the weekend for the mountains that we probably need to pay attention to this setup, because I do think flash flooding will be a concern. And for everybody else, outdoor activities, Charlotte FC, UNC Charlotte, with the Charlotte football, 49ers, and we've got the Panthers home game. I would have a rain plan for all those. Have a poncho. If you're tailgating, make sure you have a tent, because there is likely going to be rain on and off for most of the upcoming weekend. Of course, I will post updates throughout the week. It's only Wednesday. As we get closer, we can fine-tune the forecast. But right now, it's looking pretty soggy for the weekend.